Tien Cong Tran, Ph.D. Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. The Book of the Way. Chapter 1 and Chapter 11. Chapter 1. The Text. 1. The way that can be talked about is not the eternal way. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. 2. Nothing is the name of the origin of heaven and earth. 3. Being is the name of the mother of all things. 4. So, in eternal nothing, we should look at the wonderfulness of the way. In eternal being, we should look at its outer aspects. 5. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. Mysterious and more mysterious. That is the door of all wonders. Interpretation. 1. The way that can be talked about is not the eternal way. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. According to the truth of the twofold, in the appearance of a thing is the appearance of the two realities, of material, for example wood in the bridge, and of the way. These are two different realities that appear at the same time in the bridge. There is an important fact. When we see the bridge, it seems that we see wood and we do not see the way. The way appears so that wood can be the bridge and the way hides itself. It hides itself so deeply that we have the tendency not to see it any longer. We see material only. That is the hiddenness or mystery of the way. We say that the way appears, but if someone asks us about it, we cannot talk about it. If someone asks us about its name, we cannot name it. On the contrary, if someone asks us about the thing that connects two banks, we can talk at least a little about it and can name it bridge. So, in comparison with the thing, the way is mysterious and nameless. We can say that the way is named way and so ask this question, why is it said that the way is nameless? The name way indeed does not indicate any content. So, it can be said, that is a name that is nameless. That the way is mysterious and nameless is not a deficiency of the way. Because if it is not mysterious and nameless, it is not the long or eternal way. Lao Tzu sees in the mysterious and nameless way the eternal way. Eternal, was in the past, is in the present and will be in the future. When there is still man, there is still the way is the road or the manner in which man is in relation to things. We can understand that eternal means unchanging or endless. The understanding that eternal means endless can cause a misunderstanding. This misunderstanding is, the way always is, whether there is man or there is not man. In order to be able to go into the depth of Lao Tzu's thought, we should know that, the way is man's way and there is no way if there is no man. Suppose in billions of years there will be no man, then at that time there will be no way. The understanding that eternal means unchanging can also cause another misunderstanding. This misunderstanding is, the way is something fixed, does not change, like a rock that is so solid that sunshine and rain cannot, through endless time, change it. We should remember that the way is the manner in which man is in relation to things. This manner or way changes. We have the book of change, change is the name of the way. The way is not something, a thing, ether, vapor, that exists outside of man. For example, benevolence is the way of man. Benevolence makes man be authentic man. Benevolence is the way or manner in which man exists in this world. Benevolence is not something that is outside man. If there is no man, there is no benevolence. How can we explain that benevolence is something, a thing, or ether that exists outside man? 2. Nothing is the name of the origin of heaven and earth. Lao Tzu looks for the origin of heaven and earth and he finds it as nothing. What are heaven and earth? Heaven and earth indicate the dimension in which things appear. We have said that the way appears in order that that thing appears as bridge. Heaven and earth are the name or images of the way. Heaven and earth are the way. In the way or manner are the images of heaven and earth. Here Lao Tzu poses a question about the origin of heaven and earth or the way. The way appears. So, from what is there the way? He sees that the way is not from a thing or material. The way is beyond material. What is beyond material can be named nothing. Therefore, we see that Lao Tzu poses a question about the origin of the way, but he cannot find the positive answer yet. 3. Being is the name of the mother of all things. The mother here indicates the origin. Here Lao Tzu poses the question about the origin of things. We have said that the origin of things is the way. In the appearance of a thing are the appearances of material and of the way. Lao Tzu looks for the origin of a thing, he does not look for the origin of material. The way is the origin of a thing, and not of material. Lao Tzu's thought is not physics. Lao Tzu does not look for an element that constitutes the universe understood as an infinitely colossal block of material. Lao Tzu's thought is not cosmology. There is an ongoing interpretation of the way. According to this interpretation, the way indicates the substance of the universe, an abstract thing which is beyond time and space, and which is the foundation of the universe. Lao Tzu does not have such a big ambition. He only talks about the way or manner in which man is in relation to things. In its bosom the way is nothing. But when the way appears in a thing, it is being. The way is in wood and therefore wood appears as bridge. Lao Tzu sees that, as origin of things, the way is being. When we talk about thing, we should pay attention to the following fact. In a thing are the way and material. Usually, we do not see the way. Therefore, usually we think thing and material are the same. That is the reason why when Lao Tzu says that the way is the origin of things, we have the tendency to explain that the way is the origin of material. Lao Tzu sees or feels the way, but he does not say that the way is a reality, which is different from material. That is the reason why he is usually misunderstood. This misunderstanding is, the way and material are one, the way denotes the essence or substance of material. In ancient times, the disciples of the sages often recorded the books of the ancient masters. The disciples did not catch the original sight or feeling of their masters. In addition, they did not see the difference between the way and material. Therefore, their writings could not be as exactly the same as their masters' words and could lead to misunderstanding. Language also contributed to the misunderstanding. Let us take as an example the word create or give birth. The way creates or gives birth to all things. So, all things are only the after-coming bodies of the way. All things and the way are one, unity. The sages were so wise that they discovered the common or unique substance of all things. Their knowledge was so vast and so deep, they knew all things and knew them in their mysterious depth. Then today with the advance of sciences, people see that their knowledge of all things seems very remote and vague. but it is not so. Lao Tzu talks about the way, as a reality other than material. The nowadays sciences know a lot about material, but they know nothing about the way. Lao Tzu says that the way is the origin of things, not of material. If wood appears as bridge, it has to harbor the way. The way is the origin of the bridge, not of wood. 4. So, in eternal nothing, we should look at the wonderfulness of the way. In eternal being, we should look at its outer aspects. Therefore, the way has two aspects, nothing and being. What is without form or formless is described as wonderful. That is the reason why Lao Tzu says we see the wonderfulness of the way in nothing. In being we see the aspects of the way. The two main aspects of the way are heaven and earth. Heaven and earth as two main aspects of the way are the subject of the Book of Change, a book written many centuries before Lao Tzu. But we should take note that even when the way is being, it is still not material. 5. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. Mysterious and more mysterious. That is the door of all wonders. The way can be named nothing or being. Different names, but indeed the same one. When he begins to answer the question about the way, Lao Tzu is so puzzled that he cannot find the answer. So, if we ourselves encounter the hurdle when we want to talk about the way, we should not be astonished. Because Lao Tzu is puzzled, he says that the way is mysterious. There is being, that is a fact that Lao Tzu has no doubt about. But to determine what the way is, Lao Tzu is unable to do it. Because he is unable to do it, he is sincere to say that the way is mysterious. The more he thinks, the more he falls in the impasse. Therefore, he calls the way mysterious and more mysterious. Lao Tzu sees not only the mystery of the way, but also its wonderfulness. Wonderfulness indicates that the way is not the same as things. Wonderfulness denotes something different, which causes us to wonder. Philosophy comes from our wonder in front of what is different from material. Lao Tzu calls this no material the wonderful. In summary, Lao Tzu sees the way as mysterious and wonderful. With mysterious, Lao Tzu talks about the hiddenness of the way appears and at the same time hides itself. With wonderful, Lao Tzu talks about the difference of the way from material things. Chapter 11. The text. 30 spokes converge upon one hub, but it is the center hole that is the use of the cart. We shape a lump of clay into a vessel, but it is the empty space within the vessel that is its use. We make doors and windows for a chamber, but it is the empty space within it that is its use. Thus, while the beings are profitable, the non-being is useful. Interpretation. Here material which makes a thing is called the being or the profitable, spokes, lump of clay, doors, and windows. So, the being here is not being in chapter 1. But it is the non-being that is the use of a thing. The use of a thing makes a thing be a thing. Lao Tzu wants to use the examples to talk about the use. Who uses? It is man himself. The use is the way of man. In comparison to beings, the use is the non-being, the empty, nothing, nothingness. He knows that few people realize that nothing or the way constitutes a thing. Chapter 11 is very important. It harbors Lao Tzu's insight into the twofold. Lao Tzu sees in a thing the happening of the way. And Lao Tzu writes Tao Te Ching to express this way. Although he knows that the way is mysterious, he tries to express it. The way, the human way, is infinitely immense. Each person has his, her, own way. Which way does Lao Tzu seek for man? He aims at a peaceful way for man. How can man get a peaceful dwelling? The entire Tao Te Ching tries to present the way to a peaceful dwelling. So, when we read Tao Te Ching, we must tend to find out the peaceful dwelling according to Lao Tzu's words. We practice the way in our relation to things and other persons. We usually do not attain the peaceful dwelling or attain only a part of it. When reading Tao Te Ching, we should pay attention to 4 points. 1. The images and the origin of the way. 2. The powerful and wonderful effects of the way. 3. The way for an ordinary person. And 4. The way for a ruler. Our life is sorrowful because our way leads to sorrow, and our life is happy because our way leads to happiness.